Many thanks for joining us in Business Now. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. The federal government on Thursday announced that the implementation of the national minimum wage was critical to national development. This was disclosed by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, at a public enlightenment and sensitization workshop for field officers monitoring the implementation of the national minimum wage in Abuja, which was organized by the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission. Ngige said, quote, ensuring compliance with the National Minimum Wage Act would ensure that workers were not shortchanged. Speaking further, he said the formal and informal sectors were represented during the collective bargaining mechanisms that produced the act. He said no establishment could claim ignorance or non-involvement in reaching the collective bargaining agreement on the minimum wage. He stated that all establishments were bound by the act. The chairman, who was represented by the NSIWC Commissioner, Dr. Mojisola Kolade, explained that the commission would go all out to address problems of wage theft. The federal government has proposed an amendment to the sharing formula for revenue from electronic money transfer, EMT. Currently, the federal government keeps 15% of EMT revenue, while 85% goes to the state government. In the proposed amendment contained in the Finance Bill 2022 now with the National Assembly, the federal government is asking to keep its 15%, but wants the legislators to split the balance between the state government and local government councils in a 50%, 35% ratio. The EMT regulations provides for a singular and one-off levy of 50 naira on the recipient of any electronic receipt or transfers of 10,000 naira or above. The federal government has projected to generate 136.3 billion naira as revenue from EMT to be paid by bank customers in 2023. This is based on a projected 2.7 billion volume of eligible online transfers in the year. Consumers and companies paid 3.9 trillion naira tax to the government in the first 9 months of this year. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics have shown the taxes, which were in form of value-added tax and company income tax, were 36.84% higher than the 2.85 trillion naira that was paid in corresponding period of 2021. In 2022, the total CIT paid in 9 was 2.08 trillion naira, and the total VAT paid was 1.8 trillion naira. Based on the NBS, the top 3 sectors that contribute to local CIT were manufacturing, information and communication, and financial and insurance. For VAT, the sectors are manufacturing, information and communication, mining and quarrying. Commenting on the CIT contribution in the third quarter, the NBS said, quote, on the aggregate, CIT for third quarter 2022 was reported at 810.19 billion naira, indicating a growth rate of 13.41% on a quarter-on-quarter basis from 714.4 billion naira in the second quarter of 2022. Local payments received were 483.17 billion naira, while foreign CIT payments contributed 327.02 billion naira in the third quarter of 2022. And the Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved 3 public-private partnership projects to be executed in the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, saying the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC. The Director General of the ICRC, Michael Ohiani, while issuing the FBCs for the Offshore Waste Reception Facilities, OWRF projects, Thursday in Abuja, said the move demonstrates commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari administration to the environmental well-being of coastal communities as well as offshore fishermen. The projects, which are under the regulatory guidance of the ICRC, are projected to generate over $1.1 trillion to the federal government during the concession period. They include Eastern Offshore Waste Reception Facility, Central Western Offshore Waste Reception Facility and the floating dry dock, approved by FEC, following the issuance of full business case certificate of compliance by the PPP regulatory body, the ICRC. According to ICRC DG, the essence of the approvals by FEC for the OWRF is to put in place a standard facility for use in Nigeria international waters in compliance with the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, 1973 and 1978. The federal government has launched the National Plan on Financing Safe Schools 2023 to 2026 with a total investment size of 144.8 billion naira. Speaking at the launch in Abuja, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Dr. Zainab Ahmed, said the plan was designed to achieve measurable outcomes, such as reducing the number of out-of-school children and improving Nigeria's rating in the Human Capital Index in the long run. She also said the federal government targets growing Nigeria's gross domestic product to $12 trillion by 2050, with an average real GDP growth rate of 7% and an end period per capita income of $33,000 per annum. The minister further urged all critical stakeholders to prioritize funding the identified cost plans of action to ensure the safety of teaching and learning environments. The World Bank has approved $311 million to increase grid-connected renewable energy capacity for West Africa in International Development Association financing. It noted that existing and prospective electricity in Chad, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Togo would benefit from the new Regional Emergency Solar Power Intervention Project. It explained that the new project includes a $20 million grant to help facilitate future regional power trade and strengthen the institutional and technical capacities of the West Africa Power Pool to undertake its regional mandate. In addition to improving the reliability of electricity supply in each of the beneficiary countries, the project has developed a regional approach to enhance the potential of power trade in West Africa. And Shell will pay 15 million euros to communities in Nigeria that were affected by multiple oil pipeline leaks in the Niger Delta, the oil company on Friday said in a joint statement with the Dutch division of Friends of the Earth. The compensation is the result of a Dutch court case brought by Friends of the Earth in which Shell's Nigeria subsidiary, SPDC, last year was found to be responsible for the oil spills and was ordered to pay for damages to farmers. The money will benefit the communities of Oruma, Goy, Ikot, Adaudo in Nigeria, which were impacted by 4 oil spills that occurred between 2004 and 2007. An independent expert had confirmed that SPDC has installed a leak detection system on the KCTL pipeline in compliance with the appeal court's orders, the company added. And the newly completed $1.5 billion Lekki Deep-Sea Port is ready for official commissioning and commencement of commercial operations at the end of the first quarter of 2023. This was disclosed by the Managing Director, Lekki Port LFTZ Enterprise Limited, Mr. Du Rogang, during an end-of-the-year media parley held in Lagos, where he assured that necessary arrangements are being put in place for its official commissioning by President Muhammadu Buhari to herald the start of commercial operations. He noted that the terminal operator, Lekki Freeport Terminal, LFT, is putting everything in place to give its users a world-class port experience. He also said all relevant agencies have been sensitized to undertake their roles in the new port. Still to come, International Monetary Fund IMF board approves $149.3 million disbursement to Chad. Details on more news stories after this break. We'll be right back.